It's December 31st. You told yourself next year would be different. This year, you were going to see it through, actually achieve your goals, and become someone you're proud of. So you made a plan, you watched some YouTube videos to get you motivated, and now this year's halfway over and you haven't made any progress whatsoever. Everyone wants to make a lot of money. Everybody wants to be fit. Most people never will. And the reason they never do these things is because their view of how the universe operates has become distorted. Distorted to the point where they live on autopilot, not living, only existing. Not thinking for themselves, only following what others say is normal, which is not making money, not being fit, and blending into mediocrity. You yourself probably know that you're capable of so much more. That's no different than other people. What is different than most people is actually doing something about this. The reality is, getting what you want in your life is simple, really. You can get anything you want, and you should be getting chills as I'm saying this right now. Anything you want, you can have, and this is how it works. Think about what you want, make a guess on what that step is to get there, and take the step. But wait, getting what I want is so hard, it's not that simple. Yes, it is. And this is the same framework greats like Tesla, Edison, and Einstein used to shape the world we see today. Let me explain. When you look at innovation, this comes from making a guess and trying things out. And there is synergy in this method throughout both complex and simple systems. It's simply trial and error, or thinking of everything as an experiment. Make a guess and weed out the things that didn't work. Now here's the problem. You have to decide what you want. You have to have a destination you're shooting for. Otherwise, no wind is a favorable wind, meaning you'll never know how to position your sails. When you have a destination, you'll know this wind is helping, or this wind isn't. And now you can make progress towards that destination. So start sailing. This here's the problem and the path that most people take. They're walking through life on autopilot, simply existing. They'll randomly run into a minor inconvenience, or let's call it a roadblock. And because they don't have a goal, they don't know where to go from here. So they just assume, shouldn't go that way, and they start drifting off somewhere else. Meaning the probability of them reaching anywhere they'd like to be is smaller than zero. Which is why you have to have a goal. If you went and asked 10 people what they want, most of them would be close to shitting themselves because no one has a goal. I'll get to the good stuff here in a second, but make a note that the clearer the goal you have is, the clearer the steps to achieve that goal become. For example, let's say you want to become the world's best pastry chef, and there's two problems here. First, you don't know how to bake. Second, is that's a very vague goal. How are you even defining what the best pastry chef is? Is it by revenue generated? Bakery with the longest wait time? Is it most skilled? What is it? You need to realize that as bright as Einstein was, he considered himself no brighter than most other people. What he had was a passionate interest in solving specific problems. You've gotten clear on your goal, and you decided you want a bakery in Paris with an hour wait time because you're just so busy. Great, now you've got your goal. The problem is you don't know how to get there. That's the problem Albert would aim to solve. Using Albert's logic, you think, to be the best, I have to start somewhere. Great thinking. You remember your mom always made a great pie, so you decide to try and make that. Great, you're taking action. This is you here on your path. Your pie's done, and you take it to your friend to try. It's terrible. You've hit your first roadblock. Knowing where your end destination is, you know you have to get around this roadblock. So how do you keep progressing? Unlike the people who never achieve anything, you decide to analyze what went wrong instead of just quitting. You reflect on the inputs that led you to this result. What do I mean? Take a note of this, it's insanely important. This framework applies to making more money, sports, dating, and I'll even explain how businesses leverage this later. Cooking just happens to be a great visual. What you did didn't work. Take stock of your inputs. You've got your pie crust, check. Your apples, check. Cinnamon sugar, check. And a ghost pepper. No wonder your pie sucked. Now I know you might be thinking, that's an obvious error and that's not realistic. You're right, it is obvious. But if you started reflecting on your own life, you'd probably find something ridiculously obvious that you're doing to sabotage yourself too. You continue practicing and master the basics of baking, and what do you know, your pies start to taste good. You're making progress. But you can't call yourself the best because you hit your next roadblock. No one outside of your now obese friend knows how good of a baker you are. The new problem is you don't know how to market yourself. So what do? You realize the wrong people go viral on TikTok all the time. If they can do it, so can you. So you post your first TikTok of yourself baking. It gets no views. You analyze what went wrong. You had no hook, your lighting was terrible, and your audio sucked. So you fix those things, and what do you know, your fifth video was just stitched by Gordon Ramsay, and now you've got a following. Then you focus on the next problems. It could be finding funding for your business, hiring good employees, actually running a business and all that goes into that. Just like Albert, if you focus on having a passionate interest in solving problems over a long enough horizon, you can get whatever you want. You have to start with a guess and action. But that's a silly example. That's not how life actually works. Stop. If this is you, you're just coping because it is simple, really. Once you build the skills, now you can just speedrun the game. For those that might want a more realistic example, let's take running a business. As we talked about before, that is not a clear enough goal. So let's get specific. You want a remote business, which gives you location freedom. You want to bring in 100K per month or more, which allows you to have the lifestyle that you want. And you also want to help businesses build a brand. Better. But the first problem is you don't have a brand yourself. So you make a guess, you try, and you fail. Adjust, try again, and fail. Adjust, try again, and now you've created a movement that inspires people. Next problem. People don't know that you can help them do the same thing. So you try cold outreach over social media. Eventually you find a way to make this work and you're getting a client per day, let's say, which is getting you closer towards your goal, let's say somewhere around the 40K per month mark. Now you run into your next roadblock. Right now, you are the marketing, the sales, fulfillment, and support team. You can't even take on any more clients because you have no additional time in the day. Your problem is that you are unscalable as your business stands today. So you focus on hiring employees to take the workload off your own shoulders. And what do you know? A few of your employees did some shady business and ruined your reputation. All your current clients are leaving, and now companies won't touch you with a stick. A year's work down the drain just like that. Here's the lesson. You aren't ruined, because now you've built the skills needed to get back to the 40K per month mark. You know how to get around roadblocks when they arrive. So it takes you a fraction of the time to get to your last checkpoint. From there, you keep building and building and building, and eventually you reach your goal. So yeah, it is just that simple. If you feel like you're silently suffering, watching your life go by and don't know where to turn, what are you going to do about it? And I love you and I believe in you, but you have to be the one to do this for you.